Hello everyone, my name is Clementine. Welcome back to Clementine Creative. I'm back with another character design video. Today I'm continuing last week's sketch. Well, not the sketch, but I'm creating a line art out of that sketch. So basically what I'm doing right now is I am drawing the sketch that is later on going to be the base for my pose, or basically this is me setting in the pose. Therefore, I won't have to think about it later on. It's right now, it's 1 p.m. Friday. I'm filming, having a little chill moment right now. I'm not gonna, be talking too much about what's going on. We already all know it's just me drawing lines, basically. So, nothing that interesting. Well, whenever I started, doing concept art, I did think that these kind of videos were very interesting. So maybe they're interesting for you, but it's nothing that I would, there's nothing new that I could say, unless there's something that you do want to know. Then it's okay to, let's say, comment or write or whatever if there's any particular things you want to know about this piece. As you're seeing me do right now is I'm doing these really small legs, which, proportionally they're not correct at all. What I'm trying to do is I was trying to stylize this character a little bit, make him have small legs, a lot like what you see in video games like Borderlands or Team Fortress 2. I really try to experiment because I have never done a character that would have stylized legs such as these. I usually make legs actually longer than they're supposed to be, and I actually like the result in the end. You will see what it looks like. So basically at this point I am just trying to figure out the proportions for this character that I'm going to use. Here later on in about like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you're gonna see me making another character where we're basically just copying this pose and making a basically his legs longer. Okay, now here we go. Hopefully the audio is catching up. Sometimes I have a problem with audio not catching up to the picture, but hopefully at this point you're already seeing me doing the legs, and you can see that they're longer. And I eventually decided to go with the small legs, but I have kept this file with the long legs in this actual, well, I get what am I talking about. I left the layer with the long legs inside this file, which you're going to be able to download later, and you can have it if you want to use this pose with longer legs or whatever. But here I'm just, oopsie, that was a huge breath in. Here I'm basically just refining the pose, and I'm now going to move on to basically doing the actual line art. So as you can see, it's getting very clear line art. So basically what I was trying to say here, oh god, I'm using the word basically a lot. So what I was trying to definitely bring out here was that my line art is not the cleanest, especially when you go very close, when you zoom in. You would be surprised, but a lot of actual concept art, right? So the concept that it's usually you don't see this kind of concept art, but the actual concept art a lot of times is not that clear. It's actually because let's say the art books that you get that have like concept art for a certain video game, they usually don't contain actual concept art because it's not that sexy to the eyes, right? It doesn't appeal to the mass audience because it doesn't look that good, because what's really important is the design, not the actual art aspect of it. So yeah, my lines aren't that clear, but like they're not that nice, so when you zoom in, but they're presentable enough from the distance that we're looking at it, that it's going to be okay looking. So we're not going to be zooming in completely because we already see all the design, even if we're zoomed out. So right now you saw me sketching out this character. I was getting annoyed by the 3/4 view. I couldn't see everything, so I just basically finished the design. So really, I'm not designing much right now. Right now what I'm doing is, I like to call this labor. It's basically you're just drawing, right? So you're not really designing anything here, because at this point you've already designed everything, or at least you should have designed everything at this point, because that's what sketching or thumbnailing or whatever is for, right? It's for designing. I really like the whole idea of having a shield on one side. So let's talk a little bit about where this design idea came from, since I didn't talk about that in the last video. It basically, I want this character to be a very buff character, right? Have heavy weapons and whatever. and I really liked the idea of him having some sort of like armor on one side. Like it doesn't even have to look like it's medieval, but I wanted for him to have a armor that would look kind of badass, I would think. Because like I said before, this character was purely done out of looking badass. You know, I wasn't trying to solve any problems, which in the end I guess I did kind of solve a problem. Let's say you need a tank, like a heavy character, and that's what I delivered, but I didn't have any design specs. So, well, that would again be a lie. I guess I did have some design specs, which was to create a character such as like a tank, but I didn't have any sort of, I guess, guidelines like oh, he's supposed to be in this century or whatever. So I guess I didn't follow any particular design specs other than the fact that he's supposed to be a tank. You saw me copying these little pattern chest button things. I don't know what they're called. I actually done that for a different concept, and I didn't want to bother making new ones, so I just copied those. These things are supposed to be representable, so you can always come up with these later on, but they serve the purpose of being just there, being presentable. You know, I'm not trying to come up with new ones because I want to get across the idea, and the ornaments don't really play a big part in the design. You actually saw me, you saw a little clip of an anime. I was actually watching Bakuman. Maybe you saw that, like if you go back and you stop it right there, you probably saw that. I watched Bakuman. If you didn't watch Bakuman yet, you should really watch it. It's a pretty good anime about two dudes making manga. But yeah, let's not talk about anime. You can do videos about that if you want to. But let's talk about what's going on here. I'm doing a belt buckle, and I wanted to include this kind of bear-looking thing. Like try to show that he's like a very powerful character, and bears are generally at least viewed as a very powerful animals. So yeah, that's what's going on here. Alright, so I'm honestly running out of things to say because from this point on nothing new is really happening. So what I am going to do later on actually is I'm going to fill in some points, or not some points, but I guess some parts of the concept with pitch black. It adds a nice little, I guess, look to it. And that's what I wanted to say. When I was working, I was thinking of what I'm going to be talking about. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of you in your concept art. If you like to have some parts be completely black, right? Like these gloves, right? They're completely black. There's no reason why these could be completely black. If it's a line art, actually, it's probably better if you don't use any pitch black, right? Because it's not supposed to be colored in, but I like to do that because it's just gloves. There's no actual design on them, and I don't really want, it really brings out the design. It gives off a really nice look if something is just colored in, like kind of like a manga. Even though, let's say the pants are completely black, I didn't color them black because that would be overdoing it in this case, right? But I am, let's say, covering in inking in, coloring in the belts and not belt buckles, the little belt things, so these little straps that fall down, and tattoos and watch, things like that. Just adds that sharpness. I don't know, I like it, and that's why I did it. Because you shouldn't be afraid of doing something that you like and adding it in your concept. Add a little bit of yourself. That's I guess that could be the art aspect of your concept art, or of any concept art. So basically now I took the front view, mirrored it, and I'm basically starting to create the back view. I struggled with this a little bit actually. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. Try to come up with something decent for the back view. The back view, I didn't want to pay too much attention. I don't want to say that I didn't want to pay attention to it at all, but I didn't want to pay too much attention to it because the back view is not something that you would see very often if this was a game. Because you wouldn't even get to see your front view anyways, because this would probably be an FPS game. But I like to have that balance. The front is very well designed. I want the back to be a little bit more I guess, a little bit easier to look at, right? So not that much going on, right? So here I'm drawing in the I actually had a lot of trouble with the hands, but I eventually got it. You're gonna see me. I'm gonna change them a little bit. Eventually I got it, but I had a lot of trouble with them. I just I'm not that good at drawing hands, but it's okay. I eventually got it, so that was problem solved. And yeah, so this is literally basically the just what's a little stop there. But all that's gonna be left now is just to create legs, the feet to face away from us. But yeah, that's gonna be it pretty much for this character. I really like the silhouette this character is giving off. I haven't actually colored him in or anything like that, but I like the look. So what I'm doing here now is just making this, bring in this grayscale thing to bring out the design. It's all meant for the presentation. And now I'm gonna actually try to play with the name, Trock. I don't know why I thought that was a good name. And then I literally wrote a guy who likes heavy guns and has small legs or whatever. I was just trying to play dorky, but in the end it didn't work out. So here we go, heavy class, just standard heavy class. Character concept art, and that's it. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I guess I'll see you next week with me painting this character. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Right, we can already see that from the fact that his body is very builded, so we can see that he's a heavy character, at least someone that would wear a very heavy weapon.